Hi, I'm Johnny and you're watching the Hexy Beast, and on today's episode we're going to be taking a look at something a little bit special, this print and play game by J.Rodin Woods. I just want to say I was provided a preview copy, but it is a print and play game so the files are available online. Anyway, let's just get to the table and see how it plays, shall we? Okay, so before we start, there's a few things you're going to need of your own if you're playing the print and play, and that is a set of cubes, some dice, a dry white marker if you have the sheet laminated like I do. I've borrowed this one from J.Rodin Ink. And like I said, we've got our cubes, which are designed to measure our vitals, etc. So let's just get on with how the game is played. Okay, so the first thing we would normally do is we would read the story to set up for the current season. I'm not going to do that now, but I'm going to leave it on screen long enough for you to pause it in case you want to read it yourself. Anyway, let's just get on to the actual setup of the game. Okay, first we're going to grab this sheet, which will keep track of our sanity, our warmth, and our hunger, as well as the turns we're going to be taking, and our resources. It also has a handy player aid on the top of it. Then we're basically going to flip the book to its first season. In this case, it's winter, and as you can see, it's a dice placement game. We're going to be placing dice in these places. I'm going to show you how all that works now. But first, let's deal with the setup. So the first thing that's going to happen each season is that it's going to tell you how many dice you're going to be rolling each turn. Also, it's going to give you the amounts that your sanity, warmth, and hunger go down by each turn. As well as that, it's also going to give you your starting stats. The rest of it is pretty much descriptions of how the spaces work, apart from the special rules section, which basically says anytime we roll a 6, that die is locked away until we lose 1 warmth or 1 sanity. Anyway, let's just set up and get going, shall we? Okay, so because our starting stats state that everything starts at 10, that's where I'm going to place my red cubes on these tracks. Also, this section tells us how many they're going to go down by at the start of each turn. So this one is going to be -2, this one's going to be -3, and this one's going to be -1. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do on this turn is we're going to roll the 6 dice requested by the scenario. As you can see, we've already rolled these 6s, which according to the base rules on the sheet means that we're actually going to get these locked. And any locked dice we have, we're just going to place by ear for now. Which means for the rest of this turn, the dice we have is a 3, a 4s, 2 4s, and a 1. Okay, so the first thing I'm actually going to do is I'm going to lose either 1 warmth or 1 sanity to reclaim one of these. In fact, I'm going to lose one of each in order to claim back both. So that's -1 sanity and -1 warmth. So that means these two 6s are now placeable. They retain their value, so that's a good thing at least. Anyway, so what's the first dice we should place? I think we need some wood. But I actually think the first thing I'm going to do is basically place this 1 on the guitar in order to get 1 sanity back. I can also place any other dice with it in order to add another sanity to that action. That's what the symbol means here. This means 1 times the amount of dice extra. So we've got 1 sanity returned. Let's put our sanity back on full. Okay, ideally, we would like to get this fire going, but I don't think we need to do it this turn because we haven't lost any heat yet. So there's no need for us to regain it. But what we do need to do that is to gather wood. And you may have noticed we don't actually have any 2s here. But what we can do is we can use 2 dice of any kind. So I'm going to take a 4 and a 6 in order to count it as a 2. Then any extra dice we add will actually give us 3 extra wood. And I think what I'm going to do this time is I'm going to add this 4 to it in order for us to get 5 wood. So that's 5 wood. Okay, the one thing I literally forgot was to reduce my stats at the start of my turn. So in this case, this is going to go down -2, this is going to go down -3, and this is going to go down -1. Sorry about that, let's get back to the game. Okay, the other action we can do in winter is to add wood to the fire. And to do that, we would place the 3. That would instantly spend 1 wood to get 1 warmth. But what I'm also going to do is I'm going to add this 6 to it in order to allow me to spend up to the amount of pips on the extra die I used, which in this case is 6. But we only have 5 wood, and our heat is only down by 4 spaces. So what I'm going to do is actually I'm going to use these 2 in order to increase the heat by 4. And in order to do that, I would basically spend the 4 wood, like so, and then increase my heat by 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, just like that. Okay, so that's the end of turn 1. Now what we would do is we'd gather all our dice left. Any locked would still be locked. And we'd mark it on the thing. So there we go, that's turn 1 down. Now on to turn 2. Okay, so the first thing we do is roll the 6 dice. And we apply our base rules. This means this is going to go down by 2, this is going to go down by 3, and this is going to go down by 1. Then we're going to apply the special rules, which in this case means this 6 is going to get locked. Okay, so the first thing I think I'm going to do this turn is I'm going to chop some wood. And I'm going to do it using this 2 to get me 2 wood, plus 3 for each extra dice I use. And I'm going to use 2 extra dice. So that's 2 plus 3 plus 3 equals 8 wood. And that makes this a 9. Whoops. Okay, another thing we could do is build one of these things across the side here for the wood depicted up top. And because I've got 9 wood, I think what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to craft this bow, which will be useful to me in the next season when we start hunting. So that's going to cost me 7 wood. So let's cross out our 9. Place it with a 2. And then what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to place one of my wooden cubes on the bow to denote that we've actually built it, just like this. And now these will carry through into different seasons, which is why I'm marking them in the first place, to remind myself that I've built them for when I turn the page into the next season. Okay, so looking at the dice we got left, it looks like the best thing for me to do would be to actually play some guitar and add this 4 to it so that I can increase my sanity by 2. So I'm going to do that now. So that's going to be 1 to activate the guitar, plus 1 for an extra activation, giving me 2 sanity over here. And that's the end of turn 2. Okay, let's get ready to roll the dice for the next turn, and let's not forget that our 6 is still locked from last time. Anyway, let's roll our 5 remaining dice. Hey, no 6s, that's always a good start. So once again, all our stats go down. 2 for this one, 1, 2, 3 for this one, and 1 for this one. Okay, so seeing as our heat is actually quite low, I think the best thing we can do this turn is to try and cut some wood and then throw it on the fire. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to place this 2. Then I'm going to add this 4 to it, basically allowing me to get 5 wood extra on what I've already got. And that's going to bring the total wood to 7. Okay, so we don't actually have a 3 to chuck wood into the fire, but if you remember before, what I said is that we can use any 2 dice. So in this case, I'm actually going to use this 4 and a 1 as a 3 to get me 1 wood plus the pips on an extra dice I use, which will be up to 5. And we've got 7 wood, but we actually only need 6 of that wood. So what I'm going to do is I am going to spend 6 of that wood in order to raise my heat by 6 levels. Okay, so that's down to 1 wood. And our heat is now back at full. Okay, so that's the end of turn 3. And let's not forget the 6 is still locked, so let's roll all our dice. Okay, let's see what we roll for round 4. Oh no, we've rolled 2 6s, so these instantly get locked. Okay, so that leaves us with 2 4s and a 2, which is pretty rough to be fair. But first thing we've got to do is reduce these, so that's 1, 2, 3, 1, and 1, 2. Okay, so looking at it right now, we're about to go insane. We're alright in warmth, and we're alright in hunger, but we can't actually catch food in winter. Yes, we have to wait for spring for that. So I think what our best bet would be right now would be to actually spend some of our heat to get some of our 6s back. So I'm going to spend 2 heat in order to get these 2 locked dice back so I can use them this round. Okay, so after seeing the condition of our heat and sanity, I think the first thing we should actually do in this case is probably try and play a guitar, but as you can see we've got no 1, so it's going to take us 2 dice to do that. So the first thing I'm actually going to do is I'm going to chop some more wood. So that's 2 plus 3 for any dice I place with it. So that's a grand total of 5 wood, giving us 6. So let's do that now. Also, looking at our sanity, it might be a good idea for us to play guitar, otherwise we're not going to make it to the end of the game. So, I think what we need to do is place a 1, but if we look here, we haven't got a 1. So what we're actually going to do is we're going to place 2 dice to make a 1, and then 1 extra dice for an extra sanity, thus giving us a 2 increase into our sanity. So that's turn 4, leading us into our last turn of this season, which is turn number 5. So same as before, because we've got 1 dice locked away, we're going to be rolling 5 dice, and let's see what we get. Oh, another 6, so this one's going to get locked away. That leaves us with 2 1s, a 2, and a 3. Okay, so now it's time to apply our base rules. 1, 2, 3, bringing us down to 1 heat. 1 for the hunger, and 2 for the sanity. Okay, in this turn, we really need to get this fire going, or we are going to die. Okay, so although we do have the 3 to put 1 wood in the fire, our heat actually goes down by 3 each turn. So what I'm going to actually do is I'm going to place this here to gain 1 wood, to put 1 wood in the fire even. And then I'm going to place this one too, so I can spend another amount based on the pips, which will give us 3. Which means at least we're going to be alive at the start of the next season. So we're going to reduce our wood by 3 and increase our heat by 3. So that's 1, 2, 3. And then with the remaining ones, what I'm going to do is I'm going to play guitar once to increase my sanity by 1, and then add an extra die for 1 extra sanity, which will increase my sanity by 2. So that's 1, 2, leaving us with 6 sanity. Okay, so that's the end of the final turn of winter, and we survived. So the way things would work now is what we would do is we would gather all our dice, etc., and we'd move on to the next season. So let's have a look at how that works. Okay, so we survived the winter, and what would happen next is we would turn the page, and then we would read this story, and then we would move into the next season, which in this case is spring, which would come with its own set of rules and effects. But I'm just actually going to end this game here. One last thing I want to mention is that, don't forget, we bought that bow from last time, so we actually start this one with the bow unlocked. But we're not going to play through it. I think you've seen enough gameplay. Basically, the way it works is that we play through all 4 seasons and try and survive. Anyway, let's get back to the table and share some of my thoughts on the game. Okay, so that was the first season of Woods. I just want to say that I quite enjoy the mixture of dice placement and survival mechanics. I really do find myself coming back to this one a couple of times a week just to check it out. I also want to say that I found the stories in between each season to be very, very heartfelt and very sometimes quite sad, as it's about a father missing his daughter while he's trying to survive in this situation. Obviously they're separated, and the story is told in the means of letters to his daughter, which for me was just hit me in the feels a couple of times, to be honest. I just want to say, as this is a preview, you know, it doesn't actually get any scoring. I just want to say that I did actually really enjoy my time with Woods, and I can't wait to play it again. Anyway, if you like what you've seen here, please feel free to smash that subscribe button up there, or check out another one of my videos by here. Anyway, thank you for watching. See you again next time, and stay hexy, everyone!